Bible in a Year Live, Chronological Project, Week 16, Day 7, God's Word. Then Hushai told the priests Zadok and Abiathar, Ahithophel advised Absalom and the leaders of Israel to do one thing, but I advised them to do something else. Now send messengers quickly to tell David, don't rest tonight in the river crossing in the desert, but make sure you cross the river, or your majesty and all the troops with him will be wiped out. Jonathan and Ahimaaz were waiting at Enrogel. They could not risk being seen coming into the city. So a servant girl was to go and tell them, and they were to go and tell King David. But a young man saw Jonathan and Ahimaaz and told Absalom. So both of them left quickly and came to the home of a man in Bahurim, who had a cistern in his courtyard, and they went down into it. The man's wife took a cover, spread it over the top of the cistern, and scattered some grain over it so that no one could tell it was there. Absalom's servants came to the woman at her home. Where are Ahimaaz and Jonathan? They asked. The woman said, They've crossed the stream. The servants looked for them but did not find them. So Absalom's servants returned to Jerusalem. After Absalom's servants left, both men came out of the cistern and went and told King David. Leave right away, they told David. Cross the river quickly, because this is what Ahithophel has advised against you. David and all the troops with him left to cross the Jordan River. When the dawn came, everyone had crossed the Jordan River. When Ahithophel saw that his advice hadn't been followed, he saddled his donkey, left, and went home to his own city. He gave instructions to his family, then hanged himself, died, and was buried in his father's tomb. David had already come to Mahanaim by the time Absalom and all the men of Israel with him crossed the river Jordan. Absalom appointed Amasa to take Joab's place as commander of the army. Amasa was the son of a man named Ithra, a descendant of Ishmael. His mother was Abigail, the daughter of Nahash and the sister of Joab's mother Zeruiah. The Israelites and Absalom camped in the region of Gilead. When David came to Mahanaim, Shobib, son of Nahash from Rabbah in Ammon, and Machir, son of Amiel from the Lodebar, and Barzillai from Rogalim in Gilead, brought supplies and food for David and his troops, bedding, bowls, pots, wheat, barley, flour, roasted grain, beans, lentils, honey, buttermilk, sheep, and calves. They brought these things because they thought the troops in the desert are hungry, exhausted, and thirsty. A psalm by David when he fled from his son Absalom. O Lord, look how my enemies have increased. Many are attacking me. Many are saying about me, even with God on his side, he won't be victorious. But you, O Lord, are a shield that surrounds me. You are my glory. You hold my head high. I call aloud to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. I lie down and sleep. I wake up again because the Lord continues to support me. I am not afraid of the tens of thousands who have taken positions against me on all sides. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God. You have slapped all my enemies in the face. You have smashed the teeth of wicked people. Victory belongs to the Lord. May your blessings rest on your people. A psalm by David when he was in the wilderness of Judah. O God, you are my God. At dawn I search for you. My soul thirsts for you. My body longs for you. In a dry, parched land where there is no water. So I look for you in the holy place to see your power and your glory. My lips will praise you because your mercy is better than life itself. So I will thank you as long as I live. I will lift up my hands to pray in your name. You satisfy my soul with the richest foods. My mouth will sing your praise with joyful lips. As I lie on my bed, I remember you. Through the long hours of the night, I think about you. You have been my help. In the shadow of your wings, I sing joyfully. My soul clings to you. Your right hand supports me. But those who try to destroy my life will go into the depths of the earth. They will be cut down by swords. Their dead bodies will be left as food for jackals. But the king will find joy in God. Everyone who takes an oath by God will brag, but the mouths of liars will be shut. David defeats Absalom. David called together the troops that were with him. He appointed commanders in charge of regiments and battalions. David put a third of the troops under Joab's command, another third under Joab's brother Abishai, Zeruiah's son, and the last third under Ittai from Gath. I am going into battle with you, the king said to the troops. You're not going with us, the troops said. If we flee, they won't care about us, and if half of us die, they won't care either. But you're worth 10,000 of us. It's better for you to be ready to send us help from the city. I'll do what you think best, the king responded. So the king stood by the gate while all the troops marched out by battalions and regiments. The king ordered Joab, Abishai, and Ittai, treat the young man Absalom gently for my sake. All the troops heard him give all the commanders this order regarding Absalom. So the troops went out to the country to fight Israel in the forest of Ephraim. There David's men defeated Israel's army, and the massacre was sizable that day, 20,000 men. The fighting spread over the whole country. That day the woods devoured more people than the battle. Absalom happened to come face to face with some of David's men. He was riding on a mule, and the mule went under the tangled branches of a large tree. Absalom's head became caught in the tree, so he was left hanging in midair when the mule that was under him ran away. A man who saw this told Joab, I saw Absalom hanging in a tree. What? You saw that? Joab said to the man who told him, Why didn't you strike him to the ground? Then I would have felt obligated to give you 4 ounces of silver and a belt. But the man told Joab, Even if I felt the weight of 25 pounds of silver in my hand, I wouldn't raise my hand against the king's son. We heard the order the king gave you, Abishai and Ittai. Protect the young man Absalom for my sake. If I had done something treacherous to him, would you have stood by me? Like everything else, it wouldn't stay hidden from the king. Then Joab said, I shouldn't waste time with you like this. He took 3 sharp sticks and plunged them into Absalom's heart while he was still alive in the tree. Then 10 of Joab's armor-bearers surrounded Absalom, attacked him, and killed him. Joab blew the ram's horn to stop their fighting, and the troops returned from pursuing Israel. They took Absalom, threw him into a huge pit in the forest, and piled a large heap of stones over him. Meanwhile, all Israel fled and went back to their homes. While he was still living, Absalom had taken a rock and set it up for himself in the king's valley. He said, I have no son to keep the memory of my name alive. He called the rock by his name, and it's still called Absalom's monument today. Then Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, said, Let me run and bring the king the good news that the Lord has freed him from his enemies. But Joab told him, You won't be the man carrying good news today. You can carry the news some other day. You must not deliver the news today, because the king's son is dead. Then Joab said to a man from Sedan, Go tell the king what you have saw. The messenger bowed down with his face touching the ground in front of Joab, and then ran off. Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, spoke to Joab again. Whatever may happen, I also want to run after the Sudanese messenger. Now, son, why should you deliver the message? Joab asked. You won't be rewarded for this news. Whatever happens, I'd like to run, replied Ahimaaz. Run, Joab told him. So Ahimaaz ran along the valley road and got ahead of the Sudanese messenger. David was sitting between the 2 gates while the watchman walked along the roof of the gate by the wall. As he looked, he saw a man running alone. The watchman called and alerted the king. If he's alone, the king said, he has good news to tell. The runner continued to come closer. When the watchman saw another man running, the watchman called, There's another man running alone. The king said, This one is also bringing good news. The watchman said, It seems to me that the first one runs like Ahimaaz, Zadok's son. He's a good man, the king said. He must be coming with good news. Then Ahimaaz came up to the king, greeted him, and bowed down in front of him. Ahimaaz said, May the Lord your God be praised. He has handed over the men who rebelled against your majesty. Is the young man Absalom all right? The king asked. Ahimaaz answered, I saw a lot of confusion when Joab sent me away, but I didn't know what it meant. Step aside and stand here, the king said. He stepped aside and stood there. Then the Sudanese messenger came. Good news for your majesty, he said. Today the Lord has freed you from all who turned against you. Is the young man Absalom all right? The king asked. The Sudanese messenger answered, "May your enemies and all who turned against you be like that young man." The king was shaken by the news. He went to the room above the gate and cried, "My son Absalom," he said as he went, my son Absalom, I wish I had died in your place. Absalom, my son, my son." David restored to the throne. Joab was told, "The king is crying and mourning for Absalom." The victory of that day was turned into mourning because all the troops heard that the king was grieving for his son. That day the troops sneaked into the city as if they had fled from the battle and were ashamed of it. The king covered his face and cried loudly, "My son Absalom, Absalom, my son, my son." Then Joab came into the house. "Today you have made all your men feel ashamed," he said. "They saved your life and the lives of your sons, daughters, wives, and concubines today. You love those who hate you and hate those who love you. Today you have made it clear that your commanders and servants mean nothing to you. I think you would be pleased if Absalom were alive and all of us were dead. Now get up, go out and encourage your men. I swear to you by the Lord that if you don't go out, no one will stay with you tonight, and that will be worse than all the trouble you've had in your entire life." The king sat in the gateway. When all the troops were told, "The king is sitting in the gateway," they came to the king. Meanwhile, Israel had fled and went back to their own homes. All the people in all the tribes of Israel were arguing with one another, saying, "The king rescued us from our enemies and saved us from the Philistines, but now he has fled from Absalom and left the country. However, Absalom, whom we anointed to rule us, has died in the battle. Why is no one talking about bringing back the king?" What all Israel was saying reached the king at his house, so King David sent this message to the priests Zadok and Abiathar. "Ask the leaders of Judah, why should you be the last tribe to bring the king back to his palace? You are my relatives, my own flesh and blood. Why should you be the last to bring back the king? And tell Amasa, aren't you my flesh and blood? May God strike me dead unless you are given Joab's place to serve me always as the commander of the army." All the people of Judah were in total agreement. So they sent the king this message, "Come back with all your servants." The king came back to Jordan River, and the people of Judah came to Gilgal to meet the king and bring him across the Jordan River. Shimei, Jerah's son, from the tribe of Benjamin, and the town of Bahurim, hurried down with the people of Judah to meet King David. 1,000 people from Benjamin were with him, and Ziba, the servant of Saul's family, rushed to the Jordan River, across from the king. Ziba brought his 15 sons and 20 servants. They crossed the river to bring over the king's family and to do anything else the king wanted. Shimei, Jerah's son, bowed down in front of the king as he was going to cross the Jordan River. He pleaded with the king, "Don't remember the crime I committed the day you left Jerusalem. Don't hold it against me, or even think about it, your majesty. I know I've sinned. Today I've come as the first of all the house of Joseph to meet you." But Abishai, Zeruiah's son, replied, "Shouldn't Shimei be put to death for cursing the Lord's anointed king?" David responded, "Are you sure we're from the same family, sons of Zeruiah? You are my enemies today. Should anyone in Israel be killed today? Don't I know that I am king of Israel again?" The king promised Shimei, "You won't die," and the king swore to it. Mephibosheth, Saul's grandson, went to meet the king. He had not tended to his feet, trimmed his mustache, or washed his clothes from the day the king left until he came home safely. When he came from Jerusalem to meet the king asked him, "Why didn't you go with me, Mephibosheth?" He answered, "My servant deceived me, your majesty. Since I am disabled, I said, 'Saddle the donkey for me, and I'll ride on it and go with the king.' He told you lies about me, your majesty. However, you are like God's messenger. Do what you think is right. You could have killed anyone in my entire family, your majesty. Instead, you've seated me with those who eat at your table, so I no longer have the right to complain to the king." The king asked him, "Why do you keep talking about it? I've said that you and Ziba should divide the land." "Let him take it all," Mephibosheth told the king. "It's enough for me that you've come home safely."